Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Sanil. I am the Business Development Specialist for Aclaros and also your moderator for today. I welcome everyone to the webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join us. We have a great session planned for today. We will be focusing on ERP and AP automation as it relates to financial management and process efficiencies. Let me introduce all of you to our speakers for today. Neil is the sales director at Aclaros. He's been with Aclaros for 10 years. Prior to Aclaros, he's worked in the ERP industry for an additional 5 years with 2 other ERP vendors. Harry is part of the commercial team at Kefron. He's been with the company for 3.5 years, and his role involves speaking with businesses across the UK, Europe, and North America to understand the challenges they face within accounts payable and working with them to implement the Kefron AP automation platform. Irene and Moses will be walking us through the demonstration portion in today's webinar. All right, let's begin the session. We will be starting with ERP. I would like to invite Neil to start the session for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil, for the introduction and really just looking to get things started here. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. For those of you that don't know Aclaros, we are an SAP Business One Platinum Partner and member of the United VARs Association. We were founded in 2003 when SAP launched the B1 platform in North America. Aclaros is a leading implementer of SAP Business One with over 150 customers across Canada and the USA. I'm sure many of you are familiar with SAP Business One. It is a leading ERP solution for small to medium-sized enterprises across various industries. SAP B1 has evolved enormously over the past 20 years. It truly becomes the central nervous system for any organization. SAP Business One provides a single version of the truth with visibility across your entire organization. It helps foster collaboration across your different teams and helps automate processes to streamline operations to achieve efficiencies across the board. I'll pass it over to Harry just for a brief intro of Kefron and AP automation.
Thank you, Neil. Hi, everyone. Thanks all for joining. Kefron as a business has been around since the late 80s, starting off in traditional document management before evolving into the accounts payable automation platform. So our history has come from scanning documents and ensuring data is extracted at a super accurate level, which is why developing an AP automation system made a lot of sense for us as a business. Kefron AP itself has been around for about 10 years now, so it's a well-established SaaS platform. We're still working with our customer base for continued improvement. Our most recent advancement is including e-invoicing as part of our offering. If this is something that people wanted more information about, we're not going to be covering it in this webinar, but please do feel free to reach out to us afterwards. Ultimately, the platform is built to automate as much of the accounts payable process as possible, giving significant time back to finance teams and aid business growth by accurately and efficiently posting all invoice data into an ERP system with as few touches as possible.
Yeah, and if I can say a little bit about just the partnership here, our partnership with Kefron began approximately 3 years ago when we were introduced, and we quickly recognized that their organization and solutions are leaders in their space. The technology stack that they employ, their continuous improvement strategy, and the customer support they deliver is unrivaled. Using the SAP B1 integration framework platform, it allows us to seamlessly integrate with third-party applications like Kefron and truly delivers a best-of-breed solution for our shared customers.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why we at Kefron enjoy working with Aclaros on projects and would always recommend them to any business we speak to that is either looking for a new SAP partner or is thinking of implementing SAP B1. Everybody we've worked with there has the best expertise we could ask for from a partner. Kefron, as a third party, always feel understood. We fully trust that Aclaros to work with any of our own clients. We see them not only as a safe pair of hands, but also the best in the business when it comes to SAP B1 partners.
Thank you, Harry. Appreciate that. Now, as we kind of shift forward, and I want to highlight some of the aspects of Business One and why ERP is really a leading strategy for digital transformation in the SME space. ERP adoption is a leading strategy for digital transformation because it empowers organizations to streamline operations, improve efficiencies, enhance collaboration, and make data-driven decisions. By centralizing data and processes, ERP systems lay the foundation for organizations to embrace new technologies and adapt to the evolving digital landscape. However, one solution cannot be everything to everyone, nor can it satisfy every requirement a business might have. So building a best-of-breed environment with solutions that are the leaders in their respective industries, that can be integrated with simplicity in mind, a high degree of accuracy, and in a manner that flows naturally with each future upgrade you will have is really the optimal approach. Today, we will be focusing on this topic from the perspective of the finance and accounting lens. The starting point for any leading ERP solution is your chart of accounts. Having a well-designed chart of accounts provides a framework for organizing and categorizing financial transactions, and it offers several important benefits to businesses, such as accurate financial reporting, consistency, efficient data entry, cost control, management reporting, compliance, and scalability. Now, I'd like to touch on the topic of understanding the differences between best practices and going a step further using automation to streamline those processes. When it comes to AP processing, using standard ERP functions, the typical procedures involves your staff receiving, reviewing, approving, and then paying invoices from its suppliers or vendors. Breaking these steps down individually, here's what the standard process might look like for a company that may or may not have an ERP in place without an AP automation solution. First, we start with the receipt of invoice, which is typically received via mail, email, fax, or electronically. Then we move to review. Relevant data needs to be captured, typically manually entered into the system if you don't have an ERP, or if you do have an ERP, the invoice is typically electronically captured and sent. But an employee must identify the relevant data and match it to the original PO and receipt of goods or services to ensure that the charges are consistent. Then we move on to approval, to review for accuracy and compliance with company policies and any applicable legal requirements. And often it might even require an approval process. And finally, we get to payment. Once invoice is approved and matched, it is coded to the appropriate expense or asset account in the GL, and payment is processed. Going through this process, you can clearly see that there is room for automation and efficiency gains. Using an AP automation software that relies on machine learning capabilities, there is room for productivity improvements. However, having all of this capability come out of the box or seamlessly integrated is truly a finance person's dream. So what does an AP automation system actually do? Well, it captures and scans, automates PO matching, it does exception checks, it does coding and approvals, and it automates the postings. This is why it makes so much sense to focus on ERP and AP automation at the same time. Doing so can lead to significant efficiencies such as time savings, cost savings, accuracy and error reduction, decrease or eliminate late payments or penalties, visibility and control, fraud protection, and improve employee productivity. We will be touching on these benefits further throughout this presentation. Now I'd like to hand it over to Harry.
Thank you very much. So what I'm going to talk about is what's driving change. So at Kefron, we speak with businesses of all shapes and sizes every single day, all of them with different requirements from an automated accounts payable system. What I wanted to present here then is what we see as the main drivers towards an ERP system in collaboration with an automated accounts payable solution. So here are the 6 key things that we see driving towards automated AP at the moment. These are ever changing, and throughout the year, there's going to be different reasons, but currently these are the 6 that we see. So the first one is headcount. What I've highlighted on screen there is an increase in headcount, but it can also relate to a reduction in headcount as well. So if you've got people in the finance or accounts payable team that may be going on extended leave or retiring from the business, a change in headcount means a change in responsibility. And this is a real eye-opener for processes that can be automated. Next, we've got acquisitions. So 2 or more different processes that need to be brought together. And more often than not, people would like one standard process across the board. Using a system like Kefron, you can have a standardized process that all entities, new or existing, can adhere to. Changing your ERP system, or more specifically, moving to SAP Business One, this goes hand in hand with why Kefron and Aclaros work so well together. So organizations that have made the decision to upgrade their ERP and look for an AP automation system, it's already going to come with a change of process. So automating that together makes a lot of sense. Next, we've got business growth. So with business growth comes more workload, and specifically relating to accounts payable, more invoices into you as an organization. What we find is there will usually be a tipping point where the new workload does become unmanageable for the current AP team, and that's where automating this process can come in. Legislation is a big one. So at the moment, specifically in Europe, there's a big change in the way people are invoicing with a move towards e-invoicing. Again, it's not something we're going to cover a huge amount on during this webinar, but we do have some information we can send over to you if that's something that is important. But legislation at the moment is a big move towards AP automation. And the last one, board directives. So supporting your finance team to add value elsewhere in the business. Nobody wants to be spending hours each day manually entering invoice data, which is why a lot of organizations look to automate this process. We're now going to look at a selection of Aclaros and Kefron shared clients. So 3 of which you can see at the top of the screen there. TerraCycle are a waste management company that aim to recycle the previously unrecyclable, with 20 entities spread across Europe and North America. Tinshack are a group of footwear distributors based in Canada that import outdoor footwear from Australia and Denmark. And CloudMD are an online healthcare service providing support and information to medical professionals. Before working with Kefron and Aclaros, they were dealing with the following issues that you can see on screen. I'm not going to go through reading them all out, but hopefully you can see them there. Their processes were what we would call traditional. So they were very manual, at times confusing, and with a lack of visibility across accounts payable. In all cases, they chose to implement Kefron AP integrated with SAP Business One through Aclaros to improve the way they were doing things. Some of these points you can see on screen might sound quite familiar to you, and we've got some more information on how we've improved their processes later on in this session. We want to discuss now why we feel it's a good idea to implement a new ERP with an automated AP system if both of them are on your roadmap for finance and for accounts payable. So what we want to achieve is a process where SAP Business One is used as the core finance system. So reporting, payments, and full ledgers are stored there. Kefron is going to be used as a productivity tool to get data into SAP touch-free. Digital transformation comes with a change of process, and we've always found that when implementing a new ERP, rather than your finance team learning one new process, which is the new ERP process, and then learning another new one as automation comes onto the scene, it makes a lot more sense to go live collaboratively, so they only need to learn one new process. So you go live with a new ERP and with an AP automation system, it's one brand new process, and it's going to be saving you time. The 4 key wins that you can see on the screen that are consistent across all organizations we work with are removing manual data entry, giving time back and saving costs, increased accuracy by removing any doubt of human error, and improved visibility and control across the process. Studies done by the Institute of Finance and Management found automation can reduce the time taken to process an invoice by up to 80%. So converting that into actual cost savings, they found that a manual process can cost anywhere from between $15 to $40 per invoice, but automation can bring this down to as low as $3.50. Visibility and control across the process will also be very important for people, especially key stakeholders or leaders within the finance team. A study done by Arden Partners indicates that 55% of businesses feel that enhanced visibility offered by AP automation is one of its top benefits, allowing for better cash management and financial forecasting. AP automation can also lead to a reduction in fraudulent incidents. So another report by the Association of Financial Professionals notes that businesses with automated solutions are less likely to experience payment fraud than those with a manual process. Kefron achieves this by running business rule and anti-fraud checks on all of the invoices you pass through our platform, stopping any that we feel you should have visibility on and allowing you to deal with this small minority accordingly. The business case will be different for all organizations. It's really about figuring out what is important to you as a business. Kefron can help you realize this through our approach of trying to get a deep understanding of your current accounts payable process and showing you how our system can make improvements through automation. Now, I wanted to go back and share some information on one of our shared clients that we spoke about earlier, this one being TerraCycle. So what you can see on front of you on the screen are some partial screenshots of the dashboards that they as a group have within Kefron AP. We have had to crop these to ensure that no supplier data is shared. Firstly, we have their recent extraction statistics. So this is calculated based on the mandatory fields that Kefron has successfully extracted off the documents that have passed through our system. The data extraction aspect of any AP automation system is the most important, as finance teams need good, clean, reliable data posted into your ERP system so you're able to pay your supplier. For TerraCycle, we've achieved over 98% extraction accuracy, and we do this with a combination of different technologies, spearheaded by AI and machine learning, and constantly supported by a team of improvement digital operations team within Kefron. In the snapshot for this month for this client, you can see below that in the PO matching chart that 67 out of 74 invoices match the purchase orders automatically. So that means an automation rate of about 90%. What we would ask you to do, people that are listening into this webinar, is think about what you would do with that time back. So you're not having to manually enter any data anymore, not having to manually match purchase orders to invoices. If you had that time back, what would you be able to do as a business? You also have a quote on the side there from Jeanette, who was the project manager for the Kefron and SAP B1 deployments at CloudMD. And the reason we wanted to include this in the presentation was to show how well Aclaros and Kefron can work collaboratively to ensure we get an understanding of what a client is looking for and provide a full solution that fits into the day-to-day business needs of an organization. The last thing I wanted to talk about now before we get onto the demo is what we feel organizations would make a good fit for accounts payable automation. Now, it's really important to say here that all business cases are different, and this isn't going to be a hard and fast rule. It's all about working out your own return on investment, and we can help you do that as well if you needed our help to do so. So as standard, what we would see as a good fit for accounts payable automation are organizations processing over 250 invoices a month. Again, it doesn't have to be that cutoff. Some of our customers do process fewer than that per month. That's just the average that we would see. If you receive any invoices by post or are still printing them off, so there's a lot of paper in the process, we would say that you might be a good fit for AP automation. If you're used to implementing third-party products for productivity, if you've actually identified a need for a change in your accounts payable process, if you like the idea of AI helping the organization and don't see it as a threat to your business or your staff at all, and if you want time back for your finance team to focus on more value-adding tasks around the business. If any of these apply to you, then you might feel you're a good fit for AP automation, and we would love to be able to chat about that with you. What I'm going to do now then is pass over to the demo part of the webinar here. So I'm going to pass over to Moses and Irene, who are going to show you a short demonstration of Kefron AP and SAP B1.
Hi everyone, Harry, thanks for passing this over. What I'm going to do is just go through two of the invoices that we have ready in the system. So as you can see, we've got the non-PO invoices workflow open here. This is the full life cycle of the invoice, going through from verification, coding, approval to being posted in SAP B1. These folders here, what we call data banks. So these are digital filing cabinets for all of the invoices coming into the system. Whether they come in via email, they can come in via an upload. You can drop them in from the supplier portal and you can scan them in from your headquarters if you'd like to. So if we just look at one example, let's go to coding. Just before we get onto that, verification could be a stop before coding for any business rule checks. It could be duplicates, it could be missing information, it could be supplier handshakes to verify the suppliers to avoid fraudy invoices. So if we go to coding, we're going to go to outreach. So if we click on that, you can see the list of invoices we had. This is the individual invoice view where you can see the PDF, you can see the header information. So specifically what I'm saying here is we're going to extract the supplier name, and the way we extract information is from dynamic data capture. So dynamic data capture is a mixture of lifting all the words off the page via certain tools, and then we can do machine learning to pinpoint whereabouts these words or specific phrases are. And then we have another team of individuals, so an actual extra layer of humans, just in case the invoice structure is pretty tricky. So we've got the supply name, we've got the invoice number, debit, invoice date, currency, and then the different amounts, net, tax, gross. That's header information. Below, we've got the line level information. We've defaulted some of these coding indexes or, cost analysis indexes based on the supplier. So outreach, we know it's going to be other professional fees. It's going to be the general project code. It's going to be net. What we can do is just scan in the description. So nice and easy, just do something like that. And then the tax code has been left blank because we haven't defaulted one for the 0 rate. So depending on where you are in the world, in the UK, we would use something, let's say 0 rate or exempt. It's up to you. So let's just say we're going to do a no tax element. And then, we've got that there. We can split the cost down between different lines if we want to. We're just going to do one for now. So press save. Next, we're just going to approve this. So if we go here, we've got one assigned to us. So there's 3 for Joe and there's 1 for Moses Thomas. I can just view what Joe's got here, but I can't make any changes. The only one I can make changes to is Moses Thomas. So for outreach, we can either approve it high level like this, click on that, have a quick view, browse it here, and then we can approve it. I want to go in and just have a look at the line level as well. That gives me a bit more of a stringent view to have a look at the coding. Also, you can approve from email. You'll get a notification to say this invoice has been routed to you. If it has been routed to you, you can see clearly here that it has been routed to me. So what I'm going to do is approve this, and then it's on the way to SAP B1. That's all good. So let's move on to the next example. So if we go to PO invoices, this is where you've raised the PO in, let's say, SAP B1. The invoice is coming to Kefron. Maybe you've received that PO in SAP B1 if it's to do with stock or service fulfilled, something like that. So we're going to have a look at the invoice that's come in. This time it stopped at verification because of some sort of, not issue, but check, let's say. And that check could be, we've extracted all the information and that all looks good. The issue is that the handshake is required, as you can see there. Handshake required. That means, have we seen the supplier before? So even though we have it in SAP, we haven't seen it in Kefron. So this requires a one-time handshake to make sure it's a legit invoice and not fraudulent. So press verify. We've done that. Once we verify, what's going to happen is this is going to go straight through. And because all the amounts match, so this has gone to SAP now. Because all the amounts match, you've got the order number in there, and the order number is the same as the cumulative amount on the lines. So everyone's happy there. So I'm going to pass over to Aclaros him to show you what the invoices look like in SAP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moses. If we consider the first scenario of the standalone AP invoice, this scenario is very common for invoices such as your professional services, utilities, or rent invoices where you're not required to send a purchase order to the vendor. As he mentioned, once the invoices are approved in Kefron, they will automatically be created within SAP Business One. We can see the generation of the invoice as a service type AP invoice that will post to the GLs directly. We can see the data that has been mapped from Kefron to SAP, like the vendor, vendor reference number, date, description of the services, the GL code, tax code, the dollar amount, and the cost accounting element like the project code. You will also see a unique code on all documents from Kefron as the ID number for the integration purposes. Now, if we move on to the next scenario with the AP invoice that was based off of the purchase order, we can see the AP invoice is generated, but this time it is an item type invoice. The mapping from Kefron finds the goods receipt purchase order, which was used to receive the inventory into SAP from the original purchase order, and creates the AP invoice directly from there. The importance of it finding the goods receipt purchase order is so that it creates the AP invoice from the base document in the process, instead of standalone, so that there is a properly closes the GRPO automatically and requires minimal manual work. Here we can see there are a few more fields that are mapped, such as the vendor, vendor reference number, item code, quantities, unit price, tax code, and cost accounting elements, again, like the project code or cost centers. All documents that are integrated from Kefron will have this unique identifier to continue to support the integration. I will now pass it back to Neil for final thoughts. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Irene and Moses. As we begin to really close out our discussion today, here are some of the key takeaways as we, explain why ERP and AP automation really do make the perfect pair. It really ultimately comes down to getting the best of both worlds. By implementing ERP and AP automation solutions together, it represents a powerful and strategic move for companies looking to enhance their operational efficiency, financial accuracy, and overall competitiveness. Firstly, ERP systems provide a holistic view of an organization's business processes, facilitating better decision-making and resource allocation. When coupled with AP automation, the accuracy and timeliness of financial data are significantly improved, reducing errors, delays, and the risk of fraud. This not only enhances financial control, but also boosts the confidence of stakeholders, including investors and customers. Secondly, the integration of ERP and AP automation streamlines workflows, reducing manual data and the need for paper-based processes. This leads to greater operational efficiencies as employees can focus on more value-added tasks rather than routine administrative work. Cost savings are realized through reduced labor and material expenses, while the speed of financial transactions are accelerated, enabling businesses to respond more quickly to market changes and opportunities. Furthermore, the combination of these systems provides real-time visibility into financial data and transaction status, which is crucial for compliance and regulatory reporting. This ensures that companies remain in compliance with industry-specific regulations, reducing the risks of costly fines and legal issues. The improved data accuracy resulting from ERP and AP automation integration fosters more accurate forecasting and budgeting, enabling organizations to make more informed decisions about resource allocation, investments, and growth strategies. This enhanced financial transparency also facilitates better relationships with suppliers, as timely payments and clear communication lead to more favorable terms and conditions. In today's fast-paced and competitive business landscape, companies that embrace both ERP and AP automation solutions are better positioned to adapt, innovate, and thrive. By optimizing their financial processes, reducing operational costs, and increasing data accuracy, these organizations can drive sustainable growth and remain agile in the face of evolving market dynamics. Therefore, it is imperative for businesses to seriously consider implementing both ERP and AP automation solutions concurrently, as the benefits derived from their integration far outweigh the initial investment. Now, before we leave you today, we wanted to provide you with a high-level understanding of what the pricing models look like when running Kefron AP alongside SAP Business One. And here's what the pricing model is based on. First and foremost, Kefron's subscription fee is ultimately based on the number of invoices with over 20 different levels or thresholds, as well as an implementation cost. Kefron's subscription fee that is based on the number of invoice levels includes PO and non-PO invoice processing through Kefron, unlimited storage, unlimited user licenses, access to their managed service and support teams, 6 company dashboards, and access to their reporting suite of 40 pre-built reports. On the SAP Business One side, one Business One integration framework license will be required to facilitate the integration between the two systems. There's going to be an annual subscription fee for the Aclaros integration IP and a fixed price setup cost based on the standard integration package for SAP Business One and Kefron. For everyone who attended today and those who registered but were unfortunately not able to attend, you will receive a follow-up email with the webinar recording, as well as the link via the QR code displayed on this slide with a short questionnaire. If you are interested in learning more, please respond to the 8 short questions, and we will follow up with you directly and be more than willing to discuss what that pricing would look like for your particular needs. I will now pass it back over to our moderator, Sunil, to wrap things up.
Thank you, speakers, for that wonderful session. We're almost at the end of our webinar for today. And for now, I would request everyone, please feel free to write any questions you have in the chat function, and the speakers will be able to address them. All right, looks like we do have one question. How long does Kefron take to deploy?
Good question. So a standard Kefron deployment will usually take between 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the complexity of the project. But really, the timelines are really led by our client. So if for this example, you were going live in combination with SAP Business One, what we would do is make sure the timings line up. So the testing of both systems would go in line. So UAT is going to go in line. The requirements would make sure we gather before that. We can go live when you want to. So hopefully you go live with both systems together. But really the timelines are led by you, our client.
Thank you, Ari, for answering that question. We do have another one here. How long does the integration and rollout of Kefron take for an existing SAP B1 customer?
Yes, so, go ahead, Gary. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Neil. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say, in terms of that question, it seems fairly similar to the initial question as well with the Kefron deployment. If you're an existing B1 customer and you've been running the solution for X amount of time, really for the entire process, I would say you would look at 4 to 6 weeks of rollover time, assuming that we get everyone in order, resourcing and so forth to go live. Now, Harry, would you say there's anything different to that?
No, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks is definitely an accurate timeline. Again, it's going to depend on the complexity of the business needs. So approval, routing, coding structures, but we know SAP B1, Kefron knows SAP B1, and if it was with Aclaros, we'd know we'd get it done pretty efficiently.
Awesome.
Perfect, thank you. I believe they're all the questions we had for today. Thank you, speakers, for answering those questions again, and thank you everyone once again for attending. We hope this has been informative for you. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any other further questions. We will be sending out a follow-up email, and you can reach out to us directly from there. And thank you everyone, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you. Take care.